Did you see this palette is back in stock on the Sephora site? I'm so excited. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me today for this video, which is just going to be a chatty get ready with me where I create this eye look using a few of the palettes from my collection and talking to you about my upcoming Vlogmas plans as well as my Christmas tree story. So I hope that sounds good to you. Stick around. Getting into it now. I'm going in hard today with the bronzer because why not? It's a super sunny day. It's going to be about 84 degrees today, Fahrenheit. I'm not quite sure exactly what that is Celsius, but I'll put that up here on the screen for my non-US friends. Yeah, so I recently picked up a new bronzer in a different shade, the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. Did you see my Sephora haul? I created a little short because like it's a small haul, so I didn't really feel like it warranted a full-on video sharing it, but I did want to share with you what it was that I got. And how much it cost me. So I'll be sure to link that up in the eye and down below in the description box. If you missed it, check that out. Just, you know, in case you're curious what's in the Sephora bag. But before I start digging into some of the stuff in there, I wanted to make sure to use up, well, I mean, I'm not using it up. I have a long ways to go. But really, I got this when it was heading into a darker time, like darker. Well, yes, it has been quite a dark time in my life. Thank you for reminding me. Anyway, like it was, we were going into where I was going to be getting darker, like we were heading towards summer. And I thought that shade 2 might be the best one. I think I lifted up my foundation a little bit right there on the tops of my cheeks because I went a little hard with the blending and then applied more. This product is really best just applied and blended right away. Yeah, so and I hadn't used this product in a long time and I got a little excited and heavy-handed. It's fine, it's not that deep. I'm just gonna go have like a regular day. Yeah, I just chilling. I got not a lot going on the agenda today, thankfully. So thankful for that. I am though thinking about going to look for a Christmas tree today because we had this really huge tree our entire marriage. We had this tree for about, let's see, I got rid of it 3 years ago. So we had this tree for about 13 years, maybe 14, something like that. The lights went out on it after the very first year. We like the first year, little by little, one section of lights was going off. And so it's like, when it's like blinking and it's only like in a couple of areas. And the tree was massive. When I tell you it was a big tree, let me explain how big the tree is, okay? There was only one room in the house that had tall enough ceilings to contain the tree to where we could stand it up and still have room to put a Christmas tree topper on it. And I don't like artificial trees. I do love the way they look and the way they smell, but what I don't like about them is, and I'm cutting down a tree from Mother Nature for decorative purposes, like I'm not okay with that. And I don't like the fire hazard. I don't like the spilt needles. I don't like the mess. I like being able to just take my tree down, tuck it away, pull it back out and use it again. You know what I mean? Like that's what I like. And so, because you're literally like trying to get needles out of the carpet through the house, even in the rooms that the tree wasn't in, trying to get needles out of the carpet for the remainder of the year. And you never can get them completely out, okay? I can attest to that because I've stepped on them. Anyway, from the one time, we tried one time to get a natural tree because my husband was really insistent. And this was back when we were freshly married. So I would kind of sometimes let him win an argument for the sake of, you know, trying to be a compromising wife. No, let me tell you, the secret to a happy marriage and to a safe marriage is for the woman to take the reins, as long as she's the one that's the level-headed one. Anyway, yeah, me, I'm the level-headed one out of the two of us. That explains a lot about my life. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so I ended up finally like I wanted to get rid of this tree for a super, super long time. I'm gonna prime my eyes. I'm gonna create a look today. I wanna use my Cool Vibes palette in conjunction with either the Natasha Denona Glam or possibly my Mary Jane palette. I wanna do a cool toned smoky eye. Anyway, yeah, I want to use this palette because did you see this palette is back in stock on the Sephora site? I'm so excited. It was actually in stock for the Sephora sale. And so I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get this particular video up in time for that. But yeah, if you're interested in this palette, I want to say that I think it's a great palette for an affordable cool tone color story. Who just came in? Oh, hi, baby girl. Okay, my eyes are primed and I'm ready to get started. I haven't used these palettes in a long time. This right here, this one, this is one of my favorite cool toned matte shades. I love this palette for that. Like, this is the slightly warmer section of the Cool Tone Vibes palette, but this particular matte here, I love this like depth for a gray shade. The one that is in the mini Xenon palette right here, this one, this is just too ashy white for me, too cemetery gravestone color. It's not really a beautiful cool tone gray, and that is really what most of the midi Xenon palette is made of, as far as for that range, like for that level of depth of color. And like, I don't need that. I don't even want to use my Ulta rewards to where I only pay $15 for that palette. Like, I just don't even think that's worth it. Anyway, I want to just quickly compare for you side by side the Glam and the Cool Vibes palette. So as you can see, the Cool Vibes palette is like a smaller version of the Glam palette. It doesn't have the pinky tones and it doesn't have the super sparkly shades. But as far as the mattes are concerned, you can get a lot of the mattes. Like, they're very similar in tone and performance even. I really, really like this Cool Vibes palette. I really recommend it if you had any question at all. Speaking of the Mary Jane palette, was anybody speaking of the Mary Jane palette? I don't know, I was. I really like this palette. I know that a lot of the people didn't like the shimmers, and maybe if I was into shimmers a super, super lot, maybe I wouldn't have liked this palette so much. But I like this palette because the color story is beautiful. I really love the depth of the colors. I really love the depth of the shadows that are used in this palette. I just really enjoy this palette a lot. Now, maybe the shimmers aren't the best, but I haven't really had any problem with them because I use a really good tacky base for them, and then they don't fall out for me that way. But today I am going to use some of these shades and some of these shades if I need them, which I think I will need them because, like, I really like this shade here. I might use some of the other mattes to blend out something. Like, we'll just see. I think that I might have the mattes covered, except for that really, really light one. So we'll just see. Okay. If I need any other shades, I can use my Glam palette. I have that here in front of me, but I'm not going to focus too much on the eye look. I will zoom you in, but I wanted to continue telling you about, yeah, so I'm going to take a Rephr 12 and go into this really, really dark shade here. I'm a little scared. I'm going to kind of try to replicate the same style that I saw Make Me Up Misa do the other day, that I kind of replicated with my purple, but I'm going to try to do this more with a neutral look and see if I like that vibe. Anyway, I'm going to start this off by just stamping this into my crease. And then I'm gonna talk to you while I do that. So yeah, back to the story about the Christmas tree. So I told my husband that for years, I had been wanting to get a new Christmas tree. And let me tell you, this Christmas tree was like $1,000 Christmas tree. We had bought it after Christmas, the very first Christmas that we had. So we didn't have a Christmas tree, I think, or maybe it was on sale before Christmas. We did have a Christmas tree our first Christmas. But basically, we did not pay $1,000 for this tree. But this tree was a 9-foot tree. It was 9 feet tall, okay? Most houses' ceilings in America, unless you have tall ceilings, are 9 foot. Like that's kind of a little bit tall. A lot of the modern houses that are built have more like 12 to 15 foot tall ceilings, and that's kind of what I've got going in my house. But some of the ceilings are shorter than in other parts of the house, so they're not quite identical everywhere through. So that limits which rooms we can put a super tall tree in, right? Anyway, so every single year, I mean, my husband likes really big, bold, grandeur things, okay? So the tree was really his style. I had wanted one that was a little bit smaller, one that I could manage myself, because I wanted to be able to pull the tree out on my own and it not be too heavy. Like if he was at work, because he used to work a lot. Like he used to travel for his job. And sometimes he would be gone like back and forth on the train. You know, he used to drive a train for the railroad. Anyway, I'm gonna go with this next shade down. Let's see how that works. So yeah, he used to drive a train and he would be gone driving the train out and then driving the train back, okay? So sometimes he wouldn't be around. And that's honestly what made our marriage work for the first many years of our relationship. Anyhow, I got sidetracked. Yeah, so he would drive this train and be gone for a while. And that's why I was like, I really want a smaller tree so that like I'm not having to wait for him to be not only in town, but awake and not too tired to have climbed up the attic to go and get this huge ass tree for me, right? And I didn't want to keep the tree in the attic, but that's what he wanted to do. That's where he wanted it, so that, because it was so big and he didn't want it to take up like so much space in our garage, because, well, at that time I had a super lot of belongings and our garage was pretty full. But I always had the rule that we park our cars in the garage. So we did park in the garage, like not in our very first house, but after that garage, I made that the rule. We always have to have space to park our cars in the garage. So anyway, at this time, part of making that space was keeping the tree up in the attic, mind you, okay? And I had just had a baby. I was weaker. I mean, I used to work out, so I was pretty strong, but I was weaker than him, and I'm not gonna be going climbing upstairs trying to get a tree down. So I really wanted a smaller tree, and year after year, I would argue that, look, the tree doesn't light up anymore. I want a new freaking tree. I'm tired of it. I know, you know, his argument would be, this was our tree. This was a tree that we've used year after year. It's special. We want to keep it. And he tried to fix the lights. He even tried to restring lights. That would get us by for like one season. But then literally when we would go to light them up the next time, not only was it so much heavier because it had all these extra strings of lights in it, but those lights would go out, and then he couldn't figure out which string it would be to try to fix it. And like, it's just, I never, except for the very first Christmas that we ever had, I never had a fully lit tree. I always had some cockeyed lit tree. And it was just so frustrating because the tree was so beautiful and I would work like size wise and the shape of it and the fullness and the thickness. It was so beautiful and I would work so hard to decorate it. And I always got a lot of compliments on the trees. I'm a really good tree decorator. It looks like my trees look like the kind of trees that people pay money to have decorated, like in shopping malls and offices kind of thing, okay? And so I would be like, man, I really want a pretty tree. I want a new tree. And he wouldn't let me get a new tree. He was hell-bent on keeping this tree that we had, and I really wanted a new tree. Anyway, finally, okay, I think it was the first summer of the pandemic. Now, mind you, we had had some marital issues by that point that we were recovering from. Okay, we were trying to get past at that time. And so that probably contributed a little bit to him finally being willing to let the tree go when I started the argument of, I'm tired of this damn tree. It's too big, it's too heavy, doesn't even have any lights. Like, you know, I want a new tree. We don't need this tree. I'd rather have no tree. How many times am I gonna say tree? But you get the point. Like, I kept driving the message home. Finally, after I broke my toe on the damn tree twice in one holiday season, like when we first pulled it out and set it up, I broke my toe on it. So then I had a broken toe for 6 weeks, including through trying to make the holiday dinner for Thanksgiving. That was tough. I had a broken toe, but then it finally healed. And right after it healed, still like during the Christmas season, it was more after the Christmas season, we were about to take the tree down, I broke my toe on the damn tree again. I was like, that's it. I've had it. I am not putting this massive ass tree away in my freaking garage again. I'm tired of this thing. The bag was torn. Like, it had been such a problem to move and transport and store, and it was hard to decorate. Like, I had to have one of those huge walk-up ladders, at the kind that you see at Home Depot, to reach stuff off the top shelf. I had to have that kind of a ladder to be able to decorate the tree. And then like you have to move the ladder from one half to the other because you can only reach half the tree at a time. Like, it was so obnoxious dealing with that big ass tree. And I mean, yes, it was beautiful. And once it was all done, I loved the way that it looked, but it was just too much. So finally, long story, a little bit long, sorry. I convinced him, let's get rid of the tree. Okay, so we got rid of the tree, and he was like, we'll buy a tree after Christmas and we'll have it for next year. Okay, so that would have been after the 2020 Christmas. We got rid of it, and he was like, we'll buy one next year after Christmas and we'll have one after that. I was like, okay. So then we had planned to not have a tree for 2021. But then 2021 comes around and it's time to buy a tree. Well, guess what didn't happen? That's right, we did not buy a tree. He wouldn't buy a tree. I wanted to buy a tree. We hadn't bought the tree after, like, we couldn't find one on sale. They stopped doing, like, the stores here stopped doing like what they used to do. They used to buy so much merchandise and then have really amazing after holiday sales. And so we were really counting on that, and we couldn't find it during the 2021 year. So we went with that, like, after the season, we couldn't find one. So we went without a tree for 2021 and for 2022, because at the start of 2022, I was like, that was last year. I was like, I want to buy a Christmas tree. We didn't have a Christmas tree and we didn't buy one on sale. He was like, no, I don't want to spend the price to get the kind of tree that I want. He was like, I want another really nice tree. He was like, but I want to buy it on sale because I don't want to spend that much money on a damn tree. And I was like, look, I also don't want to spend that much money on a damn tree. I was like, but we need a tree. So he was like, okay, we're going to look for one this year for sure after Christmas. And I was like, okay, but if we don't, we're buying one the next year full price. He's like, fine. You see where I'm headed with this, right? Oh, Jesus. We did go looking after Christmas last year to try to avoid not having one this year, and because he did not want to spend full price. He did really want to get one on sale, but what was left in stock for the after Christmas sales were just not the kind of tree that he wanted. And I explained to him, look, all the good trees, I was like, things have changed. They're not like it used to be. We can't count on the after Christmas sales anymore. They've wised up and stopped ordering too much to where they have to super discount them and they end up kind of losing money. I was like, they've stopped doing that, as we have seen by looking for a tree for the last few years. And he was like, yeah. So I convinced him earlier before we hit the holiday season, that this year we are getting our Christmas tree, and this is going to be our Christmas tree for the remainder of our marriage. And I admitted that I do feel a small tinge of sentimental sadness missing our big tree. I'm not going to say the word regret. I do not regret decluttering it. I'm glad that big monstrous thing is not in my life anymore. It was such a hassle every season. I mean, I literally did not want to put up a tree because it was just so much to deal with. It was such a hassle. And he would do it whenever he would finally get to it, but it would never be like at the start of the season when I wanted to do it. And for the amount of work that it takes to decorate a tree like that, like, I want to be able to enjoy it. It would take me 3 full days and nights to decorate the whole thing. And literally, I had like 15 tubs of ornaments and like ribbon and stuff that I put into it. So it was like quite an ordeal and an undertaking. And he like would just pull the tree out like maybe a week and a half before Christmas. And I'm like, dude, you want me to go through all of that just to turn around and take it down in like a week or two? I'm like, no way. And so, yeah, it would really piss me off. So then, like, I would end up, this was years back, I would end up then kind of arguing my point after the fact. When he would want me to put the tree away, like right after Christmas, I'd be like, no, I'm not putting it away. And I would keep the damn thing up literally until like May or April, just to irritate him and be like, I'm gonna get my time out of the hard work that I pulled out of this. I did finally get him to let go of the tree. And so I told him earlier this year that I really want a Christmas tree. Last year, our Christmas looked so sad because we didn't have a tree. And last year was the first Christmas that I didn't have my 2 older children home for Christmas. So that was a bit of like a rough, I would say, hold on, let me get the right brush. That was a little bit like rough for us around here. And not having them here made it really sad, you know? And that plus the fact that we didn't have a tree, it just made it even more sad. And so, yeah, I don't want to do that again this year. I want to have, you know, the ambiance up and like ready for him. I am getting a little bit of fallout with the shade, even with the Pat McGrath eye base. Like, it is chunking off. And it might also be the fact that I did not tap off the brush. I just went in straight from the palette onto my eye, which is a big mistake. I'm gonna get something and just kind of fluff that off. Hold on. Just to make sure nothing else will fall off. Yeah, so I want to go and get, wow, I don't think I've used this shade very much before. I just dug into it and like left my mark. So I want to go and get a tree so that I can get it up and start to get it decorated. I do agree with my husband that I kind of want a slightly big tree. I don't want something like super small and tiny, like something that I could completely manage on my own. You know, I mean, like, but it does need to be a little bit smaller because I'm just trying to downsize everything in my life. Like, it just doesn't all need to be so big. You know what I mean? And I just want to make it easier to transport these things. How does that look? How do we feel about that eye look? I do like the way that looks. I am going to go I am going to use my Glam palette for some of the shimmers. I'm going to go with this one right here. Just to kind of smooth it out, because the ones from Melt are a little bit chunky. See the difference? The Natasha Denona one is just smoother, and I like that better for like my age. You know, maybe if I had been doing this when I was like in my 20s, maybe I would want like a more crinkly looking eyeshadow because I would have more youthful eyelids, but I don't know. I just don't really find that look flattering. It's like crocodile lids to me. I don't understand why that's so popular for people, but whatever, to each their own. Yeah, anyways, so I'm really excited to go and look for a tree because I want to get it decorated, which also kind of leads me into another point that I want to discuss with you. I did post on my community tab asking how you feel about Vlogmas. I was thinking, hold on. I was thinking to skip Vlogmas this year, mainly because I feel like I did get what I needed out of the Vlogmas last year, and what it was that I needed out of Vlogmas last year was, let me get a bigger mirror. Was getting, I have a lot of fallout, oh my God. Getting back into the habit of filming regularly, you know, because at that point I was really out of filming. And last year for Vlogmas, I really used that as an opportunity to get myself into a consistent upload schedule to where I could get used to filming and editing every day, filming and editing and filming and editing. Now, a lot of those videos I did pre-film. They weren't all filmed on the fly. I will say the ones that I filmed on the fly really suck. Like, I'm not a vlogger. I'm not like good at this YouTube gig. I'm not like into the whole social media trying to sell and push things and links and getting affiliate codes from brands and PR and all of that. Like, that's just not my zhuzh. Like, I don't want any part of that. I don't want to kiss brands' asses. I don't want to deal with the IRS on my taxes. I don't want any of that. I would rather just buy the makeup and say whatever I want to say about it. You know? Like, I'm not out here trying to be mean about things. No, of course not. But also, I'm not out here gonna just like say shit's good when it's not, you know, like a lot of people do, just because people who are pushing their lower end formulas affiliate code brands because they're affiliated with a particular indie brand that just made a release and they want you to buy their stuff using their code, you know? I mean, like, it's a sales pitch, man. It's a sales pitch. And I'm not out here trying to be a salesman. I'm just out here like being myself. How did I get all caught off on this? Anyways, yeah, so I'm not trying to do all that. I'm just out here living my best life, enjoying my makeup. And that's all I've got to say about that. I need to do something with this fallout. I have horrible fallout all over my face. Let me take a good look. I'm gonna have to look in my close-up mirror. Hold on. Yeah, that helped a lot. Well, I'm glad I at least found a purpose for this brush. taking off my fallout. Yeah, that really did help a lot. Cool. I'm gonna go in and use the Bad Gal Bang on the lower lash line, and then I'm gonna use the Benefit lash curl, or whatever the hell it's called, this one on the top. Okay, but what I actually wanted to say about Vlogmas, and I got a little sidetracked and distracted, is I don't want to do daily uploads through Christmas again, because that was hardcore. Even with 6 weeks of planning ahead of time and pre-filming, it was rough, okay? And yeah, like that was tough. Even with 6 weeks of pre-planning and pre-filming and all of that, it was still really hardcore, and it was just like a little bit too much for me, okay? And I feel like I already got the benefit out of that, meaning I already got back into the groove of filming and like being consistent with my uploads. And that's really what I gained from Vlogmas. I mean, I might have gained a couple of new viewers out of the deal, maybe not. But so my point is that I have since gotten views on some of those videos, but I think that's more because of the content that it was about. Like I had gone through and used all of my, I had gone through and done a Natasha Denona mini series using all of my unused mini Natasha Denonas last year. And I posted a video, look, with each of those. I'm rambling at this point. Okay, you get the point. Anyways, but what I was originally gonna say, this was my original intent. My original intent was to say that I was not gonna do daily uploads for Christmas. What I was gonna do was do a vlog each week. One vlog each week, sharing like Christmassy stuff that I'm doing around the house, things like that, including decorating the house for the holidays, doing some decluttering of like holiday items that I no longer want, things like that. Take you along with me today to go shopping for a tree. That's kind of what led to all of this. So sorry for that super long ramble. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take you with me to shop for a Christmas tree. So that's going to be the very first vlog for Christmas. I'll post one vlog each week. So yeah, how will I do that? Like I also still want to do like my monthly rankings, and I'll have declutters to go up. So maybe, I don't know. I'm still working out the details because I do want to do a challenge, but I do want to also post additional content throughout that time. And I'll have other things that I want to film and stuff, not just that. So let me know how you feel about that. Anyway, still have some details to work out. And yeah, I guess you'll see it unfold here and real quickly, you know, because we're upon holiday season. Anyhow, I'm rambling on and on now. I really enjoyed creating today's look with these palettes. Let's take a really good close-up of the eyes. Okay, I hope any of that was good for you. Yeah, so I'd love to know what you've got planned for the holidays. Are you doing some traveling? Will you be working through the holidays? Are you taking time off? I used to work through the holidays back when whenever I would work out of the home, I used to work through the holidays because I loved overtime. Yeah, so let me know if that's what you'll be doing, or if you too are going to be decorating or whatever. Comment down below. I look forward to hearing from you. Yeah. So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to click the like button. It really does help my channel out so much. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.